Hey folks, this is D-Roy Cruz, your Christian amateur artist. I promised you I would do a review on the Cretacolor Aqua Stics. You can see there, boom. Okay. Um, I got these in the mail just yesterday. They got here sooner than I thought. I wasn't expecting them till last week or next week. I'm sorry. Um, I have another set of these that came, and as I said in the last video when I was discussing the portfolio oil pastel, water soluble oil pastels, um, I had another set of Cretacolors here, and they came in the mail, and as soon as I opened the box and touched them, they started to fall apart. They crumbled. So I ordered another set, and here it is. The Cretacolor Aqua Stics. One thing that they have in common with the Neocolor is just like Neocolor, they come in a tin case like this. That's what they look like. I'll tell you what I don't like about this in a minute. And they come with this brochure giving you information about the Cretacolor Aqua Stics and some other uh, products of Cretacolor. Okay? What I don't like about this box, this tin box, is that you can only get the first color out. And then you would have to take the colors out, okay, and leave that color out in order to get to the other ones. There's no space in between there to get to there's no space in there to get to the other colors. You would have to take one color out and then go to the other colors, move this color here over to get to the other colors. What I do is I usually stick my thumb or my fingernail in there and get them. See how hard that is? I stick my thumb or fingernail in there to get them out. It's a pain in the butt. But, in my opinion, these are better than the portfolio over here. One thing about the portfolio you'll see is they have a beautiful color selection within 24 colors. I really love the 24 colors of the portfolio. And they do go on, as I said in the last video, like everybody says on YouTube, they do go on buttery and creamy. They are the creamiest to put down, but what they don't tell you is that when you dissolve them, they're not that easy to dissolve. I showed you that in the last video. I'm going to show you that more here as I talk about Cretacolor. What else can I say about this tin box? Other than that, it's fine. These are good pastels. Like I said, once you take one out, you'd have to leave it out and get to get to the rest of them, or you would have to take your thumb or finger and pull them out from the back like that. And a lot of times it's a pain in the butt. A lot different than the Neocolors. The Neocolors come in a tin can too. As you can see here, they come in a tin can too, but you got all this room. See, I got a whole finger of space in there to get colors out. Ding! That's it. Also, too, being I pulled up a broken one, I want to show you here, too, that the Cretacolors are very fast to break. As I was doing this presentation, I broke two Cretacolors. When I first got the portfolios, two of them broke on me. Okay, here's the orange that broke. There's another one in here, blue. There's another one. Oh, the green. Okay. Two of these broke on me in the purple. Well, it's starting to break, as you can see. They're getting them rings around them. They're starting to break. But the Neocolors are a very hard pastel. They're a very hard pastel, whereas the Cretacolors are very, very soft pastel. The Neocolors don't get all over your hands. You know, before I forget, let me say this. When you think about water-soluble pastel or pencil or anything, that means that the color doesn't get on your hand, right? It gets on the brush. Okay? So, in that case, you don't expect it to get all over your hands. Okay? And what I love about these Neocolors is I can color all day and they don't get on all over my hands, all over my skin, and they don't get on my clothes or anything. I can dip them in water just like these two mediums here, these other two. You can dip them in water too and they work different. But you know, there's a mess. There's a mess. It gets all over your, and some people love that. I have Senneliers, which are high quality regular oil pastels. I have Senneliers in the closet. And if I wanted to get pastel all over my fingers and all like that, I would just get out my Senneliers, which are high quality, the highest quality, in fact. Pastels, the most buttery and creamy pastels that exist. And I would use them. But if I'm going to go water soluble, I don't want it all over my skin. That's the whole point of a water in brush, so that you don't get it all over your hands. But these bad boys and the Cretacolors get all over your hands. I mean, just picking up a pastel, like it won't happen here, but just picking up a pastel, okay, it gets on your hands. Like here, look, nothing, okay? But if this was a Sennelier, or not Sennelier, I'm sorry, if this was a Cretacolor or a portfolio, when I put this away, there would be a mark on my hand where it left a mark on my hand, okay? Enough of that, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about Neocolors. Neocolors are number one right now. Now, maybe it'll come out with something better soon, but right now, as far as I know, Neocolors are number one. Cretacolors are number two. Excuse me. Cretacolor are number two. And they are very, very good as far as watercolor. Now, let me say this too, being I mentioned that. When you say watercolor, okay, anything that puts a pigment down that turns into color, you say, oh, that's nice watercolor because it dissolves. All these dissolve. They just dissolve in a different way. And they dry differently, okay? But if you say watercolor, you're just excited that the pigment dissolves. But when you say pastel, you're looking for a more pastel look. And the only one that gives me that so far out of the three is the Neocolor 2s. They're the only ones that give me that pastel look, and I'll show you that right here in just a second. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Now this is what the colors look like when you lay them down. As you can see, I have the portfolio over here. And I was surprised I was able to get anywhere with the brown this time. You know what? I believe there's something about with these pastels, especially Cretacolor and Portfolio, that if they're exposed to heat or coldness, they work differently. And I noticed today, I just learned this today, they work different on different types of paper. Like this here is watercolor paper. And I'll show you what they look like on other forms of paper. This is watercolor paper. Here's the port. Okay, there's the rust color there. Now, one thing I love about Portfolio and Cretacolor, they have that rust color that is like a reddish brown. I have 24. I have a 40 set of Cretacolor and a Portfolio set of 40. Or I'm sorry, 24. I have 24 Portfolio and 40 Cretacolor. Okay. Neither one of these. Both of these. I'm sorry. Both of these have this color right here. This what they call rust color. And I got 40 Neocolors that don't have a rust color. Now, I do have, because I have 40 colors, I have a color, I have other colors that can create a rust color. And trust me, Neocolor can create other colors. You mix colors together, they will dissolve into other colors. Whereas these, as I'll show you, Cretacolor and Portfolio, don't necessarily dissolve into other colors. Now look here, this is watercolor paper, and it's not really that a heavy watercolor paper, but it's very textured, and as you can see, the texture shows in the color with the Portfolio. Okay, and any color that has brown in it with Portfolio is very hard to dissolve. People doing these reviews don't tell you this stuff. But, and I love these pastels, trust me, but they don't tell you this on YouTube. These, this is regular watercolor paper, regular average watercolor paper right here. And this is how they dissolve. See how the watercolor texture comes through the paint? See? See there? See there? Okay. Cretacolor. As you can see, you're going up in numbers now. See, Cretacolor does a little bit better of a job. Okay. But look at Neo. And if I wanted to, I could go over that. I actually have two colors there to create a more rust color like these. So I had to put two colors there. I could still go over. If you can see the pigment there where there's enough of it there, I can go back over that with a brush and totally cover up those water paper bubbles, okay? I can totally cover those up if I wanted to. You can look at the pigment. I got enough pigment right here to go and just take my brush and glide over those and cover those completely up. Whereas I tried to do the same thing with these, and look what I did. I ended up lightening the color and even showing more bubbles, okay? Alright? But, the Neocolor wins on the laydown. That's the laydown, okay? Here's a project I did with which one did I do this with? Portfolio. I should have wrote it down. Now that's beautiful, that's vibrant, but look here how the brown, there's something about brown with these crayons that it doesn't want to dissolve properly. As you can see here, I did the brown and the green would not dissolve. I tried to mix 3 colors here, and they would not dissolve completely. As you can see, they moved to the most part, but that brown is like almost immovable as far as mixing goes. And as you can see, some of the green would not dissolve either. And then you can see the yellow inside this here special blue here that I was making. Um, you can see I got 3 purples in there, a pink and 2 types of purple in there. And you can see all 3 of them. They would not mix properly. This is portfolio, okay? But it does look good, though. You know, I mean, let's face it, that is a more pastel look. Very pastelish, because when you mix pastels, some of the color, you know, you can see some of the colors. So people like that. You know, that's good. I really like this one here where you can see some of the color. I like that glaze there, okay? And I like this one here, the reddish pink down here, reddish purple. I like that one too. That is portfolio. Okay. Here's one I did by Cretacolor when they first got here yesterday. I opened them up and I did this. And I just wanted to see the color swatches here. And as you can see again, this is watercolor paper. And it's not, the colors don't lay down as thick as they would if you were using Neocolors, especially on watercolor paper. They don't lay down as good. Okay. Now, this here, I'll save that one for last. This here is Cretacolor on a different type of paper, on Valium paper. And as you can see, it's very beautiful, very vibrant. But look, some of the color there, as you can see, the gray did not want to really dissolve that well. And you can see the gray lines in there. But the blue is just beautiful. And the brown, I love the brown, dissolves pretty good. So Cretacolor does have something over portfolio, but not over Neocolor. Um, Again, I love that blue. And if I wanted to, now see, there's enough pigment there. I could go back over that if I wanted to, especially after it dries and you know, make that more bluer. That's another thing I want to say too, is that with these crayons, um, you know, there's a lot of letting it dry and then going back over it. With all 3 of these, the Portfolio, the Cretacolor, and the Neocolor. Going over it after it dries, you get completeness. Okay? And when the paper is wet and you're having trouble smoothing out the color, it's best to just let the color dry and then go back over it. Okay, I'm pretty sure professional artists probably already know that, right? And I'm missing my one from. Oh, I already did the one with. Yeah, I did that. Okay, so this is Cretacolor here. These little balloons. Um, as you can see, it is beautiful. It is vibrant, but more watercolor. But you know, you'd have to let your imagination run wild, okay? And my favorite, Neocolor. Now look at the difference. And I didn't even finish. Like right here, this is Naked Crayon right here that I didn't dissolve. And you can go over with crayon and you can go back over with crayon or pastel, whichever one you want to call it, and dry. you can go over with dry crayon or pastel. And also too, these pigments, these crayons or pastels work really good with colored pencils. And I've been using colored pencils lately to do the lines. Now, I use my Intinks pencils to do the lines too when I'm willing to let the lines dissolve. That's another thing. These also go good with the ink tints and any other water-soluble material. So, take that in mind too. If you wanted to use ink tints pencils to outline your artwork on either three of these, you'd have no problem, and then you can even wet the line and bring the black or blue or whatever you're using to outline into the color too for a good, complete effect. But just wanted to let you know that too. But this is the Neocolor. These flakes here, these chips are the Neocolor. And Neocolor, as you can see, is the most vibrant, and the laydown is the best. It has the best laydown, the Neocolors. And again, don't let this fool you because that's dry crayon. If I wanted to, I could turn that into paint real easily. Matter of fact, here, let me, just so you know, just since I got the water out here, I'll show you. I can turn this into paint. Look at that. Look at that. I can turn this into paint very, very, very easily. See that? Look at that. See? I can mix that into the color. Look at that. I can mix that into the color. Let me see if I can do this and hold the paper still. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Neocolor, baby. Now look at it. See? See how the colors dissolve easily? And the thing I like about Neocolor is, and I'm not trying to promote Neocolor, I am saying this because I have Neocolor. They're the first ones I bought, and I was told by my art store that if you have Neocolor, you got the best. Okay, see how I mixed that in there? Okay. I was told that if you have Neocolor, you have the best. When I go to Blick, art supplies, they don't sell the portfolio, and they don't sell the Cretacolor, and now I understand why. Everything that they sell high quality. So everything I got from them, I will say right off the top, is high quality. I got my Derwent Inktense pencils from them. Okay. There's other types of pencils that are dissolvable, and there's other watercolors. But they are a big supporter of Derwent. And you can get a lot of Derwent stuff there, but there's Derwent things that have not really made the ratings yet, made the high ratings, so they have not put them at Blick yet. You can't get them at Blick. You have to go online to get them. I had to go online to get the Cretacolor because Blick doesn't sell them. Neither does the other three professional art stores in my area, and now I see why. Cretacolor is nice, don't get me wrong, but look, which looks more like pastel? This or this? This looks more like watercolor, and watercolor that could be cheap or inexpensive. This looks more pigmented, more like pastel if you want to call it pastel or crayon. Okay, and another thing too, the Neocolors go down on the paper like crayon. They go on just like a box of regular Crayola. Okay, but when you dissolve them, you get more of a pastel effect. And as I said in the last video, the Portfolio and even the Cretacolor, they go down more like pastel, but when you dissolve them, they turn into watercolors. And they're not the best watercolors either, but they're fun. Okay, they are fun, and I will keep them, especially the Portfolios. I see why everybody likes them. They're the best thing for practice. If you're practicing or teaching, these are really good for teaching and helping other people get into this kind of medium. The Cretacolors are somewhat better as far as the way they dissolve, but they're really not that much better than the Portfolio. As far as, when they dry and the light fastness and all that kind of thing. And my last demonstration is this. One of the things I love to do with these crayons or pastels is to mix colors, and I look for that pastel effect. Whereas, when you mix pastels, you like to push one color into another and get a more, that is the thing about pastels. Mixing colors and causing colors to connect together and all like that to create that pastel look. That's what pastel art is all about. And here I will show you in this last demonstration the difference in these three pastel brands, that when it comes to mixing and getting the colors to connect, how that looks. Okay, here is the Portfolio, and I'm mixing brown and yellow here, and as you can see, they do pretty good. But look how much paper you see in there, and this is vellum paper. This is smooth multimedia paper. I like to use this the most. This is Bristol paper, is what this is. This is Bristol vellum paper that I'm using right here. And as you can see, even with the Bristol vellum paper, I was able to get the brown to dissolve better than it did on the watercolor paper, on the regular watercolor paper. But it's still, I would have to wait till it dries and then go over with more brown in order to get the brown that I want. And that's a good way to teach your students, don't get me wrong. And then the yellow, even the yellow didn't dissolve as well as it should have, as you can see. Okay, here's Cretacolor. Now that's Portfolio. Here's Cretacolor. Cretacolor did a little bit better, and as you can see how the brown goes into the yellow better. See, and you see the little dots there. That's where the crayon, the brown, was crumbling as I was using it. See, and then that's where the color started to collide or conflict with the paper before I was even done. Okay. Alright, that's Cretacolor. And then here's my favorite, Mr. Neo. Okay. And you see how more vibrant Neo is, how the colors easily go in to each other, and then you see how there's less paper showing through the color. See, and that's the way I like it. Now maybe some people like the paper to show for a more vintage effect, but me, I like the more pastel effect where there's less paper showing. Okay. And then here's down here, same thing. I was mixing the salmon color with the light blues. And as you can see, Portfolio did a pretty good job on that color. So that's another thing I want to stress too. It does depend on the color with these inexpensive pigments. It does depend on the color. Some colors mix better than others. Okay. So here's the Portfolio, and I love their salmon color as well as their light blue, and I love how they see how I was able to get them to come together there. To me, that's beautiful. And there is still a bunch of white showing through the paper, through the paint. See? Cretacolor was a little bit more correct. I could not find a salmon color in there. So I had to use a light pink color, which is the sorry excuse for pink, in my opinion. I had to get a light pink color, and then I had to put like a little bit of orange and a little bit of burgundy over it, and I still got this, I don't know what you call this. I could go in here and find out what it is, but it's more of it's some kind of pink. I put 3 colors in here, and you can't even tell, like, where's the other 2 colors I put in there? You can see a little bit of the yellow or orange I put in there, little grains of it, but this blended very well. I think this blended very well. I'm just not excited about the color that the color comparison, because there's 40 colors, and out of 40 colors I couldn't get this, you know. But I was able to get it with my favorite, my Neocolors, as you can see. Matter of fact, I was able to even get it better. And this has a salmon color, a little bit more orange to it than this Portfolio. But I like the color in the Portfolio better, but the Neocolor color is more vibrant, lays down better. And as you can see, as far as mixing, blending the colors, causing the colors to run into each other, you get a better pastel effect with the Neocolor. So, Cretacolor, these are nice pastels, especially if you are looking for a crayon that dissolves into a watercolor. These are nice crayons in my opinion. Okay, Cretacolor. They are better than the Portfolio with some colors, and in certain situations they are better than the Portfolio, but the Portfolio does have a better color selection, even though I got 40 Cretacolors. The 24 selection of the Portfolio is better than the 40 selection of the Cretacolors. And I would say with my Neocolor 2s, I'm impressed with some of the colors of the Portfolio, because the 24 colors that we have of the Portfolio are colors that we use all the time. They're colors that we use, and that's another reason why professional artists use the Portfolios in teaching, even though they know that Neocolor is better. Portfolio is cheaper and a good pastel to use to teach to get everybody understanding how this medium works. And again, let me say it one more time. If you're looking for a more pastel effect, the Neocolor go down like crayon, but when you dissolve them with water, especially a little bit, just a pinch of water. You don't use a lot of water like you do with regular watercolor. You use just a pinch. You use a pinch of water, and the less or more water you use, depending on the project you're doing, you get a more pastel effect. And Neocolor 2s, even though they're wax pastels and not necessarily oil pastels, they're wax water-soluble pastels, okay? They give you a more pastel effect when they lay down than Portfolio or Cretacolor. But all these are good. These are all good. Let me think here. There was something else I did with the portfolios. I don't have it here with me. But that's all I want to say. That's all. I'll stop there. This is Neocolor. This is what happens with high quality colored pastels. This is the Neocolor. This is something that I did with the Neocolor, just goofing off. I drew this man practicing Tai Chi, not Tai Chi, Ishinru is what I have a belt in. So I drew this guy doing Ishinru, I think. And it's just a cartoon. It's not a professional piece. It's just a cartoon. Just something I wanted to do because I never do anything with my colors but compare them. So I just wanted to finally do something. You can see right there where I went out of the line a little bit. But that is what I love about the Neocolor. So if you are looking for something good to paint with and you want a watercolor effect, these Cretacolors are fine. And the portfolios are fine too. But if you want a more pastel effect, in my opinion, go for the Neocolor 2s. And I've seen other people there's Reeves out there. There's the Prima are the only ones that I'm willing to. There's Prima and there's one called Charvin, which is what is it? Chalk. It's water soluble chalk pastel, and I'll be getting them pretty soon. Be looking for a review. My final take on the Cretacolor is that these are nice pastels. If you are content with a watercolor effect, you can make them work for you. My problem with them, though, is that they are just expensive as the Neocolors. But yet, they might be a couple dollars more or less. They might be a couple dollars less than the Neocolors. But they are not as good, in my opinion. And that's why my art store doesn't sell them, I guess. And that is why you have to go online to get them, because that's the only way you would be able to spend that kind of money and not compare them before you buy them. So, but these are good pastels. These are good pastels. If you are just looking for a watercolor effect, you could make them work. But you can make these work. You can make the portfolios work too, depending on, the paper you use, as I just showed you, and the colors you use, and the colors you mix together. You could use one color to fix another color, you know. But if you really want to go professional, the Neocolor 2s are number one. They are still number one. So, thank you for watching. Have a great day. If you have any questions or comments, please lay it down. I'd like to hear from you. I will talk to you soon. And again, thanks for watching, and God bless.